Test, test. Okay, there we go. It looks like we've got a lot of stuff going on today, so we're gonna just get going right away. And then when people trickle in, as usual, they'll trickle in. Looks like I need to fix something. Test. Looks like it's good. Alright. So we're going to start right off the bat. I've split my TwitchBot project into two components. A Twitch Battle and a Twitch Bot. So since it is a Twitch bot, it's going to need access to Twitch, and the main TwitchBot project has a Git repository for my Twitch chat client connection stuff. We're going to export that out into a disk package so I can share it between the two projects, and so that's kind of where we're going to get started. So let's get going. So this is the TwitchBot project, and then we've got in here this Twitch Chat Connect. I've modified an asset that I picked up for Twitch Chat to better support basically storing the data locally. So we are going to convert this into a package manager project. First, looks like I might have some changes in here that need to be checked in. Before I make any changes, I'll go ahead and do that. Used to have an option to do that here. I don't have that anymore. I might pick up some of those Git features again. They're pretty useful, especially in Windows where this isn't the easiest thing. Some minor changes.
Welcome Songoku 10C.
Hey Songoku.
Hi.
Hello Son Goku 10C.
You're just in time. I'm getting ready to do a show how I create a package, a disk package, and then import it back on another project because I want to share this chat client repo that I have. I'm just backing up any changes I have before I make any modifications. Alright, so the process is pretty simple. In your project, if you have a directory that you want to keep and you want to share out to a disk package, you basically right-click on it, go to Asset Manager, and you hit Create Disk Package. And I want to move this directory into a shared location, which for me is going to be here. And so you'll get a preview of where it's going to get moved to. So you see it takes that directory and then it appends the name of the directory that you've selected. This is going to be client. The naming here matters. If you use a space with a dash in between in the naming of your packages, it'll, in Asset Manager, when you go into your package manager, it will store them. It'll split them up by that delimiter, and then you'll get this hierarchy here. So if you want to do some sorting, packages. That's one way to do it. I'm eventually going to add in categories and stuff like that. I'm just waiting to get kind of a better idea of what Unity's going to use for the categories node, if I can use that, or if I'm going to have to do something custom in the metadata. That gets created, it gets moved out of here, click away and click back, it's going to re-import it. I've also got a bug, it's showing package sections in duplicate. The bug I was working on earlier that was causing it to lock the main thread. I fixed that, but now it's loading packages twice, so it's probably just a race condition that I've got to fix. But hopefully I'll get that change up pretty quick, because the main thread lock is pretty annoying. This process in general is really slow. There we go. Yeah, if you hit refresh, it gets rid of the duplicate. I will be looking into that this week. Found a whole bunch of bugs since I hit the release button, and Unity won't let me upload an update to the package while it's in release, which is kind of annoying because I found all these bugs that I want to get patched, and I'll probably have to do it after the first release. So yeah, now we should be able to see in here somewhere Twitch client. And since we're still in that project, it's already imported, it's just stored now down here. Somewhere. Right here. So one thing to note with these package manager packages, if you're creating one, they have to have ASM defs defined. And if they don't, you're going to be kind of out of luck. Or you have to do it yourself, which we're going to have to do here. We're going to have to do some restructurings because this particular asset was not real well built. I don't know that I would recommend it. I made a lot of changes to it. Config. What I'm afraid of is I may have added a dependency that I don't want to which will make it harder to port into the other project. But I think I already fixed these problems. We should be good to go. How are the volume levels, Son Goku? Can you hear me pretty well? Do I need to turn the music down? I think that works. Alright, so we should be done with this, with that project for now. Now we're going to look at this project. We need to go into Package Manager, and we're going to have to hit refresh. And now that I've done this export and I'm importing into this
Good,
project,
but there is some noise in the background.
probably my CPU. I've got the mic cranked up pretty high too. Is it fan noise or is it something else? Might also have the mic sensitivity turned up a little high, but it's got a noise filter on it. Maybe if I put a noise filter on the desktop audio. There. I've got a noise gate on there now. Let me know if it got any better or if it's still there.
Nope, still the same.
I bet you're hearing my CPU then. I'm not sure I can do anything about it. Alright. Well, we'll keep going. Hopefully it's not too bad. And you can understand me reasonably well. Alright, so we've got that project. The other bug I need to work out, and I've worked this out before, I've got backgrounds that are supposed to show up behind these headers. And they tend to disappear at weird times. I have not figured out why yet. Well, I have in another project, but I don't remember what I did to fix it. Noise control.
It is like static noise.
Is it really bad? Let me pull up the... I'm going to mute the desktop audio. Let me know if that got rid of it, and I'm going to pull up sound on my end and see if I can hear it. Because I don't hear it at all. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, it's the mic's just really hot. So I could try turning the sensitivity down a little bit if I can figure out what the knob for it is. Test, 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 test. Oops, sorry. I think that went the wrong direction. How's this? All right. Yeah, it's definitely just my CPU that you're hearing.
Can Emma come in? Can Emma come in?
You gotta clear off the table first.
Okay. I thought Emma.
All right. Let's see. So we are looking for the Twitch client project. Here it is. These are no longer sorted. All right. I need to add a bug to have that resort. I fixed a lot of the performance issues, but I introduced a few bugs to go with it. All right. My bug note's up. No. They're actually very different. So export package in Unity Uh, sorry. Gotta mute myself so I don't I'm hearing myself a few seconds later. All right, yeah, so if you go to export package in Unity, what it does is it exports a Unity package file that you can use and share and import. It's basically it's the same type of file that the packages tab reads and what you would distribute to the asset store. When you export disk package, it's actually creating a package JSON in a directory, and so when you go back and re-import it into your project, you're not extracting an archive. You're actually looking at a specific directory on the disk. So that the really nice thing about that is now both of the projects that I have open are going to be sharing the same source. So when I make a change to Twitch client in this project, it'll make a change to the Twitch client in the other project at the same time. So that's how I do all of my local library repositories, my common repo here, asset manager, all that stuff. I keep it in a disk repository, and then all of my projects share it, and I don't have to worry about updating between the projects. There's always the risk if I make a breaking change that I'm going to break everything that's using it. So there's the kind of the downfall there. You have to keep that in mind when you're working on these projects, but it's really handy if you work on a bunch of random projects and you want to keep them all in sync, or if you're working on, say, a client and a server as different projects or anything like that. It's great for sharing resources between projects. The other nice thing that I use it most for, or at least my goal is to use it most for, is things like animations and art packages, where, let's say I've got Astrofish's castle at 6 to 10 gigs extracted. I use that in a lot of different projects. So each project, if I used a Unity package file, would re-extract that file individually into each of those projects. Using the package manager disk package, there's one instance extracted for all of the projects. It still does its library stuff where it has to generate the library in each individual project, but you're going to have that problem no matter what. And that's what symlinks were built to do. Right. It's really good for anything that's going to be read-only, or that you're going to want to make a change to, potentially, say, for an animation, if you're going to add animation tags to it and you want to share that across all your projects. It's a great way to do it. I keep all of my animations as disk packages. So I've got a local packages, I've got animations, and then basically my entire library of animations gets extracted here. And every project that needs to have an animation of some kind, I just install it from here. So you'll see this project has longsword and sword animation that brought in here. And then, like I said, all of those files get shared, and I don't have to re-extract them everywhere. So especially art assets, that like Aquarius Max assets, are really great for this, because at least for me, all I do is delete the code that he provides anyway. I don't want any of it. I just want his art. And so now I have these packages on disk that I can import and not re-extract the art every time. Right. So that's creating and re-importing a package in a nutshell. So we now have the Twitch client as part of this project too. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've got so far on this project. We're working on a Twitch, like for when raiders join or individuals join. We're going to do a little battle with anybody who joins the channel while we're streaming. So these are kind of the replacement for symlinks. It works on very much the same principle, where you have a directory somewhere and you basically have a link to that directory that's shared everywhere. The main difference is that this is built into Unity as part of the package manager system. Here's our nice little bot. And so each person who joins the chat channel is going to have one of these. Yeah, it's Unity officially supported symlinks, and it's not actually using symlinks. The real difference with symlinks is that symlinks is using file system based symlinks directly. It's not supported by Unity, and you have to be pretty aware of how they work to not break yourself. I mean, it's not too hard. I mean, it's the same basic concept. You link in a symlink path, and it's basically creating a symlink to that file on your file system, and you're talking about the stem stuff? But yeah, symlinks, the nice thing about symlinks and the kind of the core difference between symlinks and package manager disk packages is that symlinks yeah, I guess I'm the only one who uses it, maybe. I don't know. I guess yeah. But anyway, so symlinks, when you hit link, it uses file system symlinks and links it directly into assets instead of packages. And so one key difference there is anything in packages, if you have scripts, has to have a ASM def assigned to it. So for more complicated assets like Gaia or Gina, I'll use symlinks because they're not necessarily set up to work as a package. They're set up to work as something extracted into your assets directory. So this is a workaround for things like those, or Vegetation Studio Pro is a really good example. I tried to create a package for it, and it was just kind of a nightmare. Just source all over the place that had to have ASM defs created and links created between them, between editor and non-editor, and it just was too much of a headache to manage. So I keep that as a symlink. So symlinks are kind of a fallback to the more Unity-approved package manager system. Keep in mind, the package manager system, this is really just a shortcut mechanism for the actual package manager. So if we go into package manager and look at in project, you'll see I have all of these checked out, and they line up with this guy. This is just providing an index of your packageable, or of your directories that you can use as a package. So it's a shortcut mechanism to import these. You could do the exact same thing by coming in here and add package from disk. But this is slow and annoying, and you have to dig through your file system to find things versus using the package manager and asset manager, which provides shortcuts to all of the packages I have on my file system, and some that I don't. These are all online. These are my public GitHub repositories, and when this feature is released with the public asset manager, you'll get this as kind of a default setting, which you can remove if you want to. Just these guys. But you'll see all of my public repos in this package until you start adding your own. So symlinks, Sengoku, if you wanted to create a symlink, one thing to keep in mind, it has to be I guess they're being a little noisy back there. I'm isolated from this. I've got my headphones on. I don't hear any of that stuff. So yeah, if you want to create a symlink, it's the same thing. You go into the asset manager menu on a directory. So let's say I wanted to make a symlink for this project's directory. You right click on that, and you click on asset manager and symlinks, and you create symlink. And that'll open up this dialog here. And then you enter the name. That's the directory that it's coming from. And then there's some modes in here that you can choose from. You can move the contents out, kind of like how I did for the package manager. And then you tell it what directory to work on. And so a key factor that you have to remember is this only works with NTFS or on Mac or Linux. It does not work with FAT file systems. So if you have an external hard drive that you're working on that's using a FAT file system, it won't work. But as long as all your file systems are NTFS in your Windows, you're good to go. So this will create it, and then it'll link it back in, and you'll see it show up in here. I don't really have anything I want to pull in right now, but once it's linked, you hit the link button, and it'll add it in here, and you'll see a little link icon on this side indicating that it's a symlink. And same thing, you just enter your search path that you want to use to find symlink files. And symlink files are just metadata files in a directory that tells it it's a symlink. I think it has some other information like what version it was or what version of Unity it was built with. Because another thing you have to keep in mind is if you're sharing it. Yeah. So for these different versions we've got here, if you do switch between 2019 and 2021, it will modify the file system package in your symlink, and any scripts that get updated. Same thing goes for package manager, but it's a little more flexible. So just something to keep in mind. You'll want to when you do a symlink, it actually warns you if you're importing into 2021 from a 2019 project, and it'll give you a chance. It'll give you a chance to actually copy that symlink into a new directory and give you a dedicated 2021 version of that asset, so that you're not clobbering your 2019. They've got it on the phone still. When did they take the chat only away? I used it a week or so ago. There's a pop out. Yeah, you can hit pop out chat, and then you can close the rest of the window, and it still works. It's under the cog in the next to the chat button. All right, so here's our little Twitch bot guy. We only have the one so far. I haven't added in spawning. I just added in the Twitch chat project. So the goal for this stream, at least the first half, is to get it set up so this guy walks around across the screen, and then oh, did I read that wrong? Oh, I see. They've got that on phone too, don't they? I thought I used that recently. We're not on the web interface anymore. Yeah, Wizards, it's up on YouTube right now too if you want to watch from there. Or listen from there, I guess, rather. Yeah, so for the disk package, once you've created it and it's out here, you'll get like a warning or something that says, well, when I create disk packages, I automatically create kind of a default one, which I need to change because doing it this way is kind of dumb and doesn't work. At least I don't think it does because of the name. No, I guess I do name it properly. But I need to modify how this works a little bit. When you use my option to create a disk package, it does create an ASM def for you. It just likely won't work. If you have... no, the characters... This guy is going to be... I'm not sure I follow the question. He's part of this project. But yeah, Son Goku, if you want to create a... like an editor script, like you'd have to do for some of this stuff, just go to right-click, create ASM def, assembly definition right here. Oh, Blue Earth, I think I could get your question now. No, this character, it's in a dedicated app, this guy right here. But yeah, if you want to edit these, you can. One thing to keep in mind, if you have editor scripts, you need to make sure you uncheck any platform and check editor only. Yeah, and you'll have to do that for each editor directory you have. Well, the root of each editor directory you have. Yeah, it's a little annoying, but it works-ish. That's why I primarily use these for my assets and art, because my assets, they're all going to be ASM def set up properly anyway, because that's just how I do it at this point. I really wish every asset would do ASM defs. It's supposed to improve build times, especially around not changing code. If you don't change a project, it's supposed to reuse the DLL that it generates, and so your whole project is supposed to build faster. And you just have to go through linking instead of recompiling every time. But I don't know that I've seen that actually. I don't know that I've seen a noticeable difference yet. All right, so let's go ahead and get this going. We're going to. I've got too many tabs open here. I don't need all of this stuff open right now. We are going to need the animation tab. I think we'll put that down here. All right, so let's start out with this guy. So the way this is going to work, we've basically got a camera that's a front-on. It's not. I don't currently have it set up as an orthographic camera. I probably should. It might make more sense to do it that way. Not usually. So if you only have code that can go in a build, or you only have code that can go that's editor code, sweet. At least YouTube works. I've had issues with Twitch lately. Last week's stream just went horribly, absolutely horribly. But yeah, you can get away with one ASM def if you've got a plugin that's editor utilities only, in which case you set it to editor only, or you've got an ASM def that, or a package that is runtime stuff only. If you have a mix of those and you only have one ASM def, your editor stuff, it ignores the editor directory. So you know how in assets, if you put something under an editor directory, it doesn't try to build it into your assembly for your final build. Yeah, I haven't found a way to mix them. It'd be great if I could. So if you want to use editor to do, if you want to have a mix of both, you have to have ASM defs for both. I can pull up a package that has both. For instance, let me pull up my common library. It has a combination of both, and I can show you how that structure works. So we're going to package manager, wait for this guy to finish refreshing. I also need to add a loading here, and I got to bump up the quality of the cache. It's not loading as fast as I want it to. All right, let's go in here. Let's install my common one. I know that has a. What else? Is there anything else we need while we're in here? I don't think so. I think we're good. This one should load pretty quick. It's a bunch of scripts. It doesn't really have any large assets that it has to import. All right. So if we go into my common directory and we look at scripts, I've got an editor and a runtime directory. And this is generally how Unity suggests organizing packages these days. There's this whole bit of documentation on it. But anyway, so I keep an editor directory and I keep a runtime directory. These are all the scripts that are editor-only scripts. So then if we look at the ASM def in here, you'll see it's checked to be editor, and then it has a reference to my common runtime and TextMesh Pro. So over here, I've got the common runtime, and you can see this is any platform. So this will build and run with anything that you need to build and run. And it'll get packaged into your final game assembly, and it'll all be there. But this one will not. And it's not the editor, it's not the directory that's managing that now. It's the ASM def that's controlling that. Nice breeze. All right. let's create character. Do we want a player or a character? I think we want a character. So that's my little hack optimization that I may remove. That's part of Asset Manager. When I first built the feature, I wasn't real clear on how ASM defs worked. So I noticed that the Unity editor would only pick up files in Package Manager that had an ASM def, and this was before I learned how to really manage them. And so I just created one at the root to try and catch all of the scripts. And so that was a mistake. It really shouldn't. What I am thinking about doing is trying to auto-resolve these and have it create one for each of the runtime directories and one for the editor, but that's a little more involved, and I may have just stripped the feature entirely, the ASM def generation entirely, and let the user do it, because it's just, I don't know. Right now I'm being lazy and I don't feel like working on it. But I could eventually fix it. And so the root, it's a hack that works for some assets but very few. In fact, you'll probably want to delete it most of the time when you create your own directories with that method. I tend to actually create my disk packages by hand. Correct. If you don't have any scripts, you don't need an ASM def at all. Yeah, and it's ASM DEF, or assembly definition. Okie dokie, so we've got our character here. Let's give the character a model. We can go ahead and delete this guy. And so I think my goal, at least the first implementation of this, is each person's going to get assigned one of these hero presets. And then the same way TwitchBot works, when you send the gender command, it'll give you the gender of your choice. And I've got a fun animation for spawning that I want to figure out how to use. So we look at this guy. I need the animator. I'm going to attempt to hack this locomotion controller that it's using to include a spawning animation. So let me pull up the spawning animation so you can see what it looks like. Animations, where was it? Spawn. Here we go. Epic spawn. So when the user joins the room, we will have them appear out of nowhere and jump and do kind of a hero landing to welcome them into the scene. So I thought that would look really cool for a user joining the chat. And the nice thing about the way this is going to be built is it's going to be on top of my screen. So I'll see you guys actually walking around here, and I'm going to have little chat bubbles pop up. So hopefully when audio isn't working for whatever reason, I'll still be able to see your chat message here. So this is kind of serving as a double feature to give an on-screen chat, which apparently is still useful for some people. And I guess when looking back at my streams on YouTube, since none of the Twitch chat is in there, it's actually kind of important if the audio is not there. But it'll give an alternate way to kind of see what people are saying. And if we get enough people that the TTS becomes too overbearing or it gets abused or something like that, it'll provide a way to see messages when I have to turn it off. Hopefully I won't have to turn it off, but you never know. So let's drag spawn root in here. We're just going to make that the default state before it goes into the idle state. What could be good if so I'm thinking I want to eventually add in the ability to customize your avatars through my website or something like that. I just think that would be a lot of fun. So I could have it set up so there's a zombie character, and that could be the default spawn for that. All right. So if we go back to our scene, let's hit play and see if this does anything. I don't know enough about how... Oops, compiler errors. A lot of compiler errors, all with common. All right, we don't need common right now anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. That could work too. So what you're saying is I need to have customization in like 3 or 4 options for spawning. Wait, aren't you the king of feature creep on Messy's stream too? Or was that somebody else? I want this to be... Main camera. Oops, wrong axis. There we go. Okay, let's adjust our light. Alright, let's hit play and see if that does the default animation. Oops. I forgot to put a floor. Let's fix that. Alright, so we're going to have this floor. It's going to be invisible. I would really like to have it detect window edges and stuff like that and have the bots jump up and climb on window edges. But I'll probably never get that far. Not on this project. Oh, nice. There we go. That looked really good. Alright, so we're going to do this using the new event system, which I don't think I've imported yet. And that is under here. We want... Forgot to install my templates too. And scriptable events. These are two packages I'm getting to where I need to build the essentials feature for Package Manager, because every project I end up wanting them. Alright, so we've got events. Now we need a Twitch client. And we need to add in Twitch chat client. This is the feature I added to this asset so I could package this stuff up in a way that I could use it on stream without accidentally showing it. So I'm going to have to go grab the actual data here for a second. So I'm going to put you on the BRB screen while I get that entered. All right, I got to find it first. Where's the other window? That one. I'm really good at having way too many windows open at once. Almost there. One more check, make sure I've got it in properly. Minimize that. Okay, that should have it. I can bring you guys back in now. Alright, so we've got our Twitch data. Got chat message events. So let's go ahead and create a game event directory. And then I'm going to convert these chat messages over to a game event. I guess we need to type for those. So, go to scriptable events. I still don't have the template set up for these quite right yet. Integrations, runtime, events. It's going to be. Let's steal the string one. And we will call this Twitch message event or something like that. Whatever that type was. I don't know, are we having streaming problems again? Or is it just behind? Just glance down at my remote monitor. I should probably kill it because it's chewing up my bandwidth. Alright, events. So we'll move the string game event in here. Like I said, we are going to call this slow computer. Chat message event. We'll call this chat message game event. All right. Next, we need the listener. We're going to do this in Writer so it runs a little quicker. Fix this namespace. Try not to do too much coding this time around, at least in this session. And then about 4 o'clock, we'll start doing a more artsy scene. Oh, that reminds me. I haven't decided a theme for today's artsy scene creation. So if you guys want to pick the theme or find some reference images that I should go off of, that's kind of the plan, is to go off whatever we come up with in chat. So if you find a reference image, you can paste it in the in my Discord's reference images channel. And then whichever the reference images I like the best for today that you guys paste, that's what I'll do, starting at 4 o'clock. So you've got about an hour to find something you want to see me build. Try and keep it medieval-ish, because I want it to fit the theme of the rest of the stuff, but it's up to you what you want me to do with it. Exactly. And I'll paste the Discord channel under terrain inspiration. So yeah, we'll see where we get with this in the next hour, and then we'll start doing that. Alright, so we've got our character. We've got our Twitch client. Let's go ahead and create this guy. So we will raise an event anytime we get a chat message for other events to listen to. And let's create the data we need for that. So that should give us anytime someone sends a message. So let's do, we need to spawn. So I need to create a quick spawner. Oh. No. Unity's... I hate how often Unity takes over, like, totally freezes their UI for compiles and whatnot in the middle of an action. I wish they would, like, if I was doing a drag like that or something, delay the compile until user interaction is done and then take over the screen or something. Anything, so I'm not constantly in the middle of an action because I didn't realize the compile hadn't finished yet. Ooh, I like that. Yep, and as you guys post, I will show the references. I've got a new button for this I want to try out. Oops. Where's my button? I think I deleted my button. It's alright. Yeah, check your library in the pre-compile, or in the, there's a place in your library that has all the DLLs in it. You may need to delete those. So yeah, as you guys drop in, I will toss them in and double click and it fits the screen. Cool. In the library directory under the project, I've had issues where, like, especially if you delete something, it doesn't always work. And if you find that directory, you can delete just the DLLs directory instead of your entire library, and it saves you an hour or two, depending on how many assets you have imported.
Daddy, let me have a piece. Yes, yes.
What's Unity doing now? Why am I sitting on a hold screen? All right. Big question here, is this me? Is this a new bug that I'm working through? Because you do see I've got some async web requests going. They should be async. There shouldn't be anything going on in the main thread. I don't know. This is what I get for using 2021. Application reload of death. Wait, why is this stuck? I haven't saved recently either. Not a whole lot there. I guess I could get away with starting over, but hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up since we're stuck waiting anyway. Did I put this in experiments? Yes. So in here somewhere there's a script assemblies. This guy. Delete this directory. Under your project library script assemblies. If you delete that, it'll force it to rebuild all the assemblies. And hopefully that'll fix it. Although those DLLs don't sound like they're part of your project either. Alright, I'm tired of waiting on this. We're going to kill the process. And I probably need to update. I'm maybe a few dots behind. All right, we're back. Now we gotta find the scene. Hopefully I saved the scene. I may not have ever saved. Did I modify sample scene? I did modify sample scene. Which doesn't really help, but we're basically like the entire stream's worth of content is now lost. But that's alright, we barely touched the project itself. Most of it has been persistent data anyway. Alright, so where were we? We were creating a character. That character has an animator, which should still have valid data here with the spawn animation. So that's where we were with that. We can reset this to 0. We don't need that. We changed the main camera to an ortho camera. And we repositioned it. So it's just, hopefully just right above the start bar is where we want these guys to live. And then what else do we need to do? We created a plane. And we turned off the mesh renderer. Made it 100 wide. Reset the location so that he doesn't fall through the floor. What else? We need the Twitch bot, or the Twitch component. And this guy. And we want to call on a, no, not on event raised. We want to call on evoke. And then we need to assign chat message game event so that anytime this gets raised, it gets sent to the right place. We'll save that. And then we were creating a spawner. Right, save the scene this time. So we weren't that far into the actual scene construction anyway, so no big loss. So create the spawner. Where'd my code window go? Alright, so spawner, we need a prefab to spawn. Or, I guess to start, we're just going to do it randomly. Or, no, not randomly. We will have a queue of presets to spawn from. So we want to spawn the first time somebody says something in the chat channel. Ouch. I don't know. Sounds like it has a dependency on some .NET libraries. Maybe you need a .NET runtime for it to work. What asset are you importing? You probably need to read through the documentation. They probably use some native library, Windows libraries to do some random thing. It sounds like it could be part of the .NET Core. Oh, make sure your project is using .NET 4 maybe. Probably not going to fix this, but it's worth a try. If you're using 2021.2, I think .NET 4 is the default now anyway, or at least I hope it is. All right, so what we want to do, player, we need to look at, this is going to go to the code side, fix the boundaries in my code window. We can hide the puref for now. Okay, we've got defined. Let's look at the character. Just drop your 3D model. What I want to figure out is how to change the model at runtime with this guy, which I don't know if it's possible. I think it is. So we need a character animator. Let's go switch over to code view. My code view is gone. Ugh, I mess with my buttons. Guess I'll do it by hand. Alright, so here we've got our player. Oh, really? I can't believe they still have 2.0 standard. It really messed with Asset Manager. Like I keep having to go back and remove features that are not 2.0 features because I want to be able to support it working out of the box. To not being at 4.0 right now really sucks. .NET standard is now what, 8 or 9, something like that. Same thing happened in Android. I'm behind on Java for the same reason. Android never caught up to the public Java levels. I didn't get to use generics for so many years because they weren't supported. I think it was probably 2 or 3 years after 6 came out when Android finally upgraded to Java 6. Oh, sweet. Here we go. Change model. View model prefab. I think this might work. So this we should theoretically be able to spawn in the player, which will have pre-configured everything all set up, and then each new person who spawns in will be able to pull the next model out of the prefab queue. I'm not going to set up any of the gender stuff right now. I just want to get the goal, I think, is to get basic spawning working and wandering around on the screen going before 4. If we can. We've got 30 minutes left to do it. We'll see if we get there. All right, I need my model prefabs. And I need player prefab. So let's go ahead and create folder for prefabs. And then this is going to be our player prefab. I don't know if we'll get up to the point they're walking on the screen, because I don't remember how to do that off the top of my head in Game Creator, which is what I'm going to use at least to start for this. Yeah, I think I forgot to mention that. We're using Game Creator as kind of a base for this for now, because there's a bunch of custom character controller coding I want to do, but I'm kind of on a block, a mental block on any of that stuff right now. So this is something that looked like it would work well enough for the time being. I use it in a lot of prototypes. So we've got our character prefab. Go back to spawner. Drop our character, player prefab, and now let's go grab the prefabs from this pack. Lock that. $120 prefabs. I don't think we'll have to worry about hitting that limit anytime soon. Okay, so we got our prefabs, we have our spawner. Now, spawner needs to listen for the events. Or chat messages. So when we get a chat message event, we're going to call spawner. And spawn. So theoretically, we will see all of this work when I start this up and someone sends a message. Forgot to set the client data in here. Right, I'm gonna hit play. Oh, let's delete this guy for now. Alright. Definitely not working yet. Question is the Twitch chat even connecting? I have not tried this package outside of the other project yet. I'm not even sure what logging I have. So let's attach a debugger. We'll restart this. Let me also look at John's Twitch. He just did his chips project. I may look at his Twitch client and see if it's any better than this one. All these directions are for. Oh, I think I added that stuff. The other thing I'm going to add to this is the dance command is no longer going to. Well, it'll affect TwitchBot, but your avatar will also dance if you enter the dance command. So each person will have their own little interactive bot at the bottom. Let's see this. Huh. I guess I need to create a something to trigger in it. I don't remember having to do that.
Can two more friends come in too?
If you're quiet. All right, so this should trigger. Oh, hold on, I gotta tell my daughter she can't bring her friends in. My wife's about to take a nap. We live in a great neighborhood for little kids, so my daughter's got lots of little friends.
Then I go, you guys have some. My parents said yes.
Hey, there we go. All right, connected. Let's try this. Anything? Anything? I at least saw it connect this time. I don't think I'm going to do anything that scale today. Maybe 4x4. But so if you do want that scale, you got to post something in the terrain inspiration thing, because right now that kind of scale is not needed for the only submission so far. Got another 20 minutes. Also, there's what we've got for submission so far from Wizards. Oops, no, don't move the wrong window. One. Okay. Let's go back and let's debug our chat messages. I don't know that I believe that we're connected. This game. Well, that would be why Twitch chat client is not available. All right. Oh, you're talking about on your tool. This says we're connected. Oh, here we go. Message is coming through. Alright, so we're definitely getting messages now. Question is, why are my events not going through? Invoking there. Let's simplify this for now. Maybe I broke something with that guy. Oh, maybe I can't set that yet. Send another message. Debugger needs to be on. That would do it. Says oh, well, that would explain why it's not working. The event that's wired up to the chat message is not being sent. Oh, I've got this working elsewhere. Chat message received. Chat client. Which chat client? This is public. That's a delegate. Okay, my bet is I registered for these on the encode. This is an easy fix. We do chat message event. Invoke. Then we'll have to add one for commands. Back. All right. Stop that. Compile, hit play. Let's see if anything happens. Hey, there we go. That was cool. Son Goku, post a message. Ah, is it a different avatar? It is a different avatar. Look at that. Sweet. All right. Make sure. Uh-oh. That's not good. It's spawning a new one for each character. Or for each post. So something is clearly broken in the spawner. Something's happening in here. User ID. Oh, I forgot to actually add a value to the dictionary. So every message you send right now, now's your chance. Spawn as many characters as you want while I fix this. Let's see. All right, that bug should now be fixed. I forgot to set the add the value to the dictionary once you've created your character. All right, so it's working. I mean, we've got characters spawning. Next to do is maybe put a name above them. And potentially pick a spawn position that's not occupied by another player. So what we'll do is let's do that. I think. Yeah. So we'll do a sphere cast. And we'll start at position. Should probably do this before we spawn. We'll do a radius of 1, max distance of 1. Why is that looking for a ray? Sphere cast not the one I want. Okay. Origin, direction, after radius. The orange, origin, radius, up. I guess we need hit info. That should work. Just in case I got this wrong, we'll add an element in here so we don't crash Unity. The other thing we needed to do was flip the camera. Alright, here we go. Let's see if this works. Hopefully we won't spawn into each other anymore. It'll find an open spot somewhere to my right. I forgot to delete the... whatever. No, the recast didn't work. Son Goku, we need another message. Yeah, Raycast is definitely not working. What if I have a character controller on it? Bump up the radius, maybe? And we'll disable the check for now. We can get more test bots in. I don't know, Wizards, you see anything wrong with my spear cast here? I think this should work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Okay, hold on. Let me display. Be right back. I gotta go check on my daughter. All right, sorry about that. A little confusion here. So yeah, something is up with our sphere cast here. It's not finding what it needs to find. Maybe I need to increase the max distance. Well, anyway, I'll debug this off screen. We're going to go ahead and get started on the creative stream. I only got one entry, so I guess that's the one we're going to do. All right. We'll move this back over to code. We'll pause this. Oh, I want to delete this character before I forget it's there again. Yeah, so the origin of the cast is at 000, and the colliders. I'll play again real quick, and the colliders should be directly above that point. Maybe it's already in the collider. Maybe I need to move it below the ground a little bit, because it should. I mean, it should even be possibly catching the plane at its current point. We don't need this breakpoint anymore. Yeah, origin's right here. That's where we're casting from. So, I mean, the other option I could move it above as well, and that might work. So, let's first try, while we're talking about it, let's try moving it down. Or I'll move it up. And we'll cast it down. All right, let's see if that does it. And then we'll move on. I promise. Nope, still not detecting. Well, the other interesting thing too is the colliders on the characters themselves are not. Uh, they're not interacting, which I expected them to. I wonder if they're turned off for some reason. Here, it's one last thing. We'll put a little sphere over their head. Yeah, they should all be on the default layer. I'll check it when we spawn in a few. Well, I guess I can check it here. Actually, they may not be on the default. Yeah, they're on the default. Test. Connection issue. The other thing is this library has some random issues where it thinks it connects, but it doesn't actually connect. What's going on? Oh, hey, it had a collision. I bet it's colliding with the plane now. All right. So I guess I said we were going to move on, but one more thing. Let's set up the layers. It's definitely detecting the floor. It's not necessarily detecting the player. So now we'll detect on layer mask, and let's give the character its own layer. Layers. We will add a layer for player, and we'll just call it player. We'll open this guy. Oops. Open this guy up. We'll change his layer to player, and we'll go ahead and change the children. And we will save that. All right, so we've got the layer. We need to set the layer mask to be player. All right, so now it should only detect player when it hits and not the floor, because we don't care if it collides with the floor. There's 1, 2. Oh, look at that. All right, guys. Now's your chance. How long is the delay? All right. I'd say that's a success. Success-ish. They're colliding with each other, but they're not repositioning horizontally like they should. But I kind of like this. I like this bunching that they're doing and shifting. All right, so I'm gonna re-enable this. We'll do a build, and we will start the scene that Wizard sent me. Unless you've got a last-minute suggestion, Son Goku. Last call. Main camera. I gotta make sure that the transparency layer is still on, and actually we gotta kill the one that's running so that we can build. Transparent Unity is attached. Scene's good. Oh wow, yeah, I forgot you guys are on late time. Right, build is going. While we're waiting on that, I gotta kick up the stream scene, the stream project. Right, so we're gonna go with Wizards. Wizards, did you want this to be black and white, or do you want it to be colorized? That's cool. All right, black and white it is. I think I got to make the characters just a little bit smaller. They're kind of big on the screen. They're going to take up a lot of screen real estate. Well, they're not horrible. But maybe 50% that size. Maybe I'll adjust the camera distance based on how many people are in and how much space it'll take. So with just 2 or 3 people in, keep them about this size. With 7 or 8, bump it down to half that size. So they are going to battle. I'm likely going to end up pulling in um, the Castle Defender AI. So I might set it up so you can buy mercenaries or something to help you fight, and then have basically each chat member be their own faction. That would be kind of cool. So when we do like a battle royale, I think what I'm gonna have it do is I'm gonna have it go from transparent to a battlefield and take over the whole screen. And then it'll be full 3D and we'll see it from the top. And then, yeah, I'm really thinking I'm gonna merge the battle functionality from Castle Defender into this because I think it would look really cool and people would get a kick out of it. I'm still trying to decide what I want to do for battle commands. So if I do end up going the route of you're commanding a group, I'll probably let you set up formations or something like that. Because all of this is, I mean, really this is just like a potential front end for Castle Defender. But I thought it would be fun to integrate it into a Twitch stream in addition. So like I said, all these projects tie into one grand scheme, larger project in some degree or another. But yeah, definitely when a new person joins on their own and it's not a raid, I'll probably do like a one-on-one battle between me and the person joining. And then my thought is TwitchBot will jump up out of the screen and then he'll do the cool flip-in animation as a Senti character. So I've got to make a Senti character that looks like TwitchBot. And then when the battle's over, he'll jump back out of the scene, out of the battle scene, and back into his normal position. Right, did this finish loading? We're still waiting. It's not the window. That's not the window. Where is the right window? Where's my scene? I want to get started on this artsy pick. I want to have it for next week. What's that in the background there? Is that like a little castle, you think? Yeah, we could do a little castle back there on the hill. Can you guys even see the... I don't have the reference up. Hold on. There you go. It's either a house or I think we'll go with a castle on the hill. Shouldn't take very long to build the terrain with a single hill. In fact, I may even just, instead of using my usual... No, I'll start with Map Magic at least to give it kind of a little definition in the terrain itself, and then we'll go straight into painting in the hill itself instead of generating it. And I think we'll use Map Magic Brush for that. I wonder if I've updated to the latest. He's done a bunch of updates before I get started. Looks like I left this on African Savannah. Let's start a new scene. See, I mentioned this in chat the other day. This is what I don't like. I open the scene and instantly it says it's been modified. Maybe because I moved the viewport or whatever. But something marks the scene dirty and I never know if a scene's actually dirty or not. And I don't want to save it if I didn't actually make any changes. So I really want some sort of diff here. Fortunately, in this case, we literally just opened it. So I know the difference, but still. Alright. We've got my magic graph up here. Let's go to package manager. Let's go ahead, or asset manager. Let's go ahead and make sure that Map Magic is up to date before we get started. Because I know he's done some fixes, and I don't want to do anything with brush if there are things that haven't been fixed. But I think I may have updated this project recently, 2.1.6. The latest version 2.1.6. Okay, I think I'm up to date on Map Magic and Map Magic Brush. At least I hope we are. So, let's start out. We need to create a new scene folder. What are we going to call this scene? Field Noir? And we will save early, save often. Is that the right spelling for that? Alright. Next we need terrain. Folder. I want a folder. And we need a Map Magic graph. Oh, someone is at the door. I will be right back. Okay, sorry. More kid stuff. Okay, where were we? We were creating the map magic graph. Somewhere. I've got way too many assets loaded in this project. It's gotten crazy. There it is. Alright, we'll close. Build more graph. And we will add a map magic object. Somewhere in here. Yeah, just look at that collection of installed assets in here. I do believe it's accurate. These aren't. I actually broke install history recently, so I'm gonna have to go and clean this up. The polygon ones are not on. All right, let's drag the graph in wherever we created that. Here it is, graph. All right, and we need to open the graph. And even if I'm not really going to use map magic for a lot of detail and really generate the whole scene that way, I like to use it to kind of give it some base noise to the scene. And kind of get the textures initially set up. So do noise. I'll put height. And we need a curve. We need erosion. And then we want this to be really flat. Crank this intensity down. Want a little bit of noise in here. Kind of give the terrain a little definition. I think, ooh. It even kind of gives us the hill that we need. Sometimes we just get lucky. But I'll probably construct the hill a little bit more so it looks a little more accurate. And we should probably do... this is going to be in 1080p. Figure out where we want to... I think that looks about right terrain-wise. A little bit of hilliness here and there. Kind of leading hill toward the beginning. Then I'll have the path kind of go wind its way down that way. Alright, so there's that. Let's go ahead and texture this guy. Textures, add a layer. We want grass. Green. Those hills look like they're probably pretty green under the black and white. And maybe grass yellow. For a little bit of noise. That'll give us a little variation. I need to move the camera before I forget, because I kind of like this shot it's at right now. Line with view. Right, so add our cliff layers for the steep parts, the little rocky areas. Go with that one. All right. That'll be good for some grassy stuff. We'll just save this guy, pop it out here. All right, so now we have a kind of a base terrain to get started with. Do I even remember how to use Map Magic Brush? I haven't tried it in a while. Just had so many bugs when I got started. Alright, I'm gonna have to look this up. It's been so long. I don't know if there's a prefab I need to drag into scene. Maybe there's not. Can actually move this out. We don't need the whole tile thing. Where's our camera sitting? Right there. So I guess this is our hill. Alright, let's drag in weather, our clouds, and our effects. Oops. I needed that first. And I think to get black and white, we could do it directly with Beautify. I gotta remember to turn off blur here. This is a new feature. The menu itself blurs, so it makes fixing depth of field messy. All right, night, Son Goku. I'll talk to you later. I need to get it set up so when you log out, your character disappears or jumps out of the scene or something. Something fun. I'll work on those after this stuff later tonight. Alright. How do you remove color from a scene? I've never tried it. I know there's a way to do it. I think I've done it accidentally before. Oh, I can decrease the vibrance. That's not quite black and white, though. You need a camera black and white. Post-processing color grading. That makes sense. Alright, so I guess we need a post-processing layer. And a post-processing volume. And a new profile. Yep, that's what I read. I probably should have pulled that on the screen. Yep, first thing that showed up in, what did I search for? Black and white camera Unity or something like that? Alright, Unity, and we want color grading. And it said saturation. Where's saturation? Here it is. Question is that gonna work with better shaders turned on? I think it may be overwriting some of these fields. I'm worried that the post-processing... Oh, hold on. I may need to do this. Not on the right layer. I don't do post-processing often enough. I need to do it more. There we go. Looks like we probably need to bump up the contrast quite a bit too. Really get that effect. Bump up the contrast and maybe even modify post exposure. Still pretty light. Doesn't have that dark effect that I think we want. Part of that's the lighting in the scene too. We'll work on that. Turn on HDR. This is an area that I've wanted to kind of mess with for a while. I haven't really done a whole lot with this kind of color gradient type stuff. Because there's some things you can do in here that really make a scene like just very artsy type stuff. Sounds like our music is done. Let's move on to another category. All right. So this is going to need some grass. We need to get the road in there. Question is, do I have anything specific for roads, like a path painter, or in this project yet? Or am I just going to do it by hand? I think I've got RAM in here, which would be good for roads. I think I'm going to paint it by hand, at least to start. And then we'll make it maybe a little more detailed with RAM. I wish there was a way to turn on camera frustum calling or something so I could see just what the camera sees from the scene view. I don't think there's any way to do it. Okay, so let's go ahead and add Vegetation Studio in, I think. And let's paint a little bit of the road first. We can at least move the camera into the view and we'll paint from the perspective of the camera. Or the scene into the camera view. Alright, so here's our brush. Alright, sample, we'll make our road this tall, this high. Alright, we need to reduce the brush strength and the brush size just a touch. I think that looks wide enough for our road. We're just going to do a road. Probably should have painted this first. Oh, I forgot to add a path layer. Alright, so we want, since this is black and white, we want it to be pretty bright, I think. So I don't know if this is going to be bright enough to stand out. Kind of drag this out and have it go out into the distance. And then let's go ahead and go back to our flattening brush. Just find our path, and we're just going to flatten that out. Kind of carve out a road. I'm doing this with my pen. A little low, I think. Here. Every time I go into the set height, it gets taller. Alright, let's add Vegetation Studio in here. It'll help us give it a little contrast so we can see the road a little bit better. And I'm definitely going to have to do a lighter material for that. Rain. Where's my rain for this one? I need a biome for this guy. And we're going to want some 3D grass from nature manufacturers. Plains kit. This whole project is mini gigs at this point. It's huge. Alright, so we want, oh, those are the flowers. We don't want the flowers yet. We want the grass. And we want to exclude it from, I believe it was texture 3 or texture 4? Texture 4. Alright, this black and white look. This gravel's got to be almost white. So let's go into our terrain. The real challenge of this black and white stuff is the shadows are crucial for it to be distinguishable. Otherwise it just looks like a blurry mess. And then rocky type stuff over here. Right, let's see what I can do about this road darkness. We'll turn it on the grass until we're ready for it to be cranked up. I can just hear my CPU's jet engine taking off. I'm going to duplicate this gravel. Then find the material, and I'm going to duplicate that too. Because we need it to be almost white. Or actually, I'm probably going to make it white. I'm very close to it anyway. I don't know if anybody else is having this problem, but Dropbox has been killing my file system performance lately. And I'm 90% sure it's Dropbox. I've paused it a couple times, and all of a sudden, everything's back to normal. Like creating a folder can take a minute. It's weird. I don't know what's going on with Dropbox, but it's making my life miserable. Like this. It's just trying to open the output directory, and that's really what's killing it. Oh, I've got an extra directional light in here too. Ooh, that's a little bit better. That's why it was so bright. I had a directional light that I forgot to delete. So that immediately helps with some of these shadows. Alright, let's go back. Where's my terrain? I need Texture. Gravel. Just to gravel 1. Gravel 1, we're going to change. Yeah, the problem is I leave windows frequently. Why is that black now? Not what I wanted. How do I want to do this? Let's look up a. Let's find a texture that we can use that'll work. I do have a terabyte of storage there. I don't remember what gave it to me, but something gave it to me. It's not a high resolution texture, but I want to see what it looks like just the same. Where's the material? Well, there's our white road. A little washed out. I think I want a little bit higher contrast in the dark areas. I should do this in levels. Or what would I use what stuff for here? It's almost too white. I think I can bump up the texture size a little bit though. A little bit better. Okay, I gotta fix that spot. Which requires this. Oh, in the demo or in the Inspiration image? Maybe. It is rainy. It is kind of cloudy and rainy. All right, let me turn on wet stuff. All right, wet stuff is on, and when it starts raining, it should just look wet. It definitely looks like garbage close up, but farther away, it's not too bad. All right. My headphone battery is about to die. I gotta grab a charger. I just have to switch to speakers and mute myself. My headphone battery is not accessible. The clouds in the position they're in right now is really actually pretty close to the reference image. All right, let's do the castle on the hill. I think I want to maybe widen this hill just a little bit. Alright, so the castle looks like it's got a big kind of center tower and then maybe some walls and a couple shorter towers. A large center keep. I'm probably going to use Lordenfell for this one again. A little lighter weight than Astrofish, and at a distance, it's plenty detailed. Lordenfell. Ooh, even a tower like this, like for the center, might be perfect. That hill's not quite as distant as it looked. Which I can cheat with scale and scale it down until it looks right. Or I can push the hill back. Maybe I'll not cheat. So put the tower kind of in this back corner here. We'll flatten that out. Oh, vegetation. There. That actually works out pretty well because we've got this kind of little hill here, which is kind of close to this guy over here in the front. And then do nice looking hill back here. And a brush that looks like it might be good for that. Crank up the brush size a lot. Rotate it.
Starting to get there.
Sculpt. Razor lower. So there's our hill. We gotta flatten this out just a touch and kind of lower and sculpt. Because this side needs to be lower. manual painting in here. Gonna get the shape that we want on this cliff, or on this hill. Crank up the brush strength a bit. I think that's about right for the shape. Maybe have a little bit too much of a peak on that hill there. Then we need to flatten the top just a little bit. But I think that's roughly... Well, you know what? The road actually curves and goes to this cliff. Hard to tell, but it does. I should really try out Roland's road painting tool. Just a second. Kids are being quiet. I gotta check on them. Alright, so starting to run out of time. I'm gonna have to start thinking about dinner soon. So let's get as much as we can of this done. Probably should have started this a little earlier than we did, but I'm still gonna have something. Yeah, that's gonna look good. So we'll move this about here. Then we're going to need some walls. Question is, can I manually paint this road in here, or do I need to wait until I get a road tool? I think the terrain tool has a good bridging tool that I've tried before and it worked reasonably well. I could do smooth height and kind of cheap for now. It's far enough in the distance. I just kind of need to get the color to show. I don't really have to get it perfect. Yeah, this brush might work. So we're going to wind the road down the hill and then meet the road partway. We'll do it with the texture first so it's obvious where we want it to go, and then we'll sculpt it. So it looks like we're going to go up this way, kind of wind down this way. Until we meet up with the road. Why does that look like a different texture? Oh, because I'm painting yellow grass, not gravel. It was just light enough. It tricked me. So, retrace that. All the way up. Yeah. Right. Now we can go back and trace back over that with that tool. Slope that. Brush size, we'll make this 10. A little bit bigger than the brush itself. Nice. Okay. So back at our tower back here, we need to add in some walls and accompanying side towers are going to be a little shorter. We can have them a little forward down the hill. And then maybe here. I think I want these to all be level. I'll construct them like they're on a flat terrace and then we'll adjust the hill to match. Not really grand enough. Right, now I need to find some walls. Should really probably use my wall spline tool for this. It'd be a lot easier. But I don't think I have it imported in this project. I don't want to import anything at this point. Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, pass. I played that way too much in bands and whatnot to want to listen to it. Kind of hard to see from this lighting. We have to turn off processing effects while I'm building this.
Welcome Tim Spurgeons.
Hey, Tim.
Hi. Hello Tim Spurgeons.
So you notice you had an avatar pop in here. It's where we made it with that project so far today. We're now working on
Cool.
a level with... So at the beginning of the stream, I told everybody to pick out a reference image that they wanted me to reproduce. And so Wizards picked out this scene here where it's kind of a castle-like thing at the top of a hill down a road, and black and white. I just turned the color, I don't know if you were in recently enough, but I just turned the color back on so I could see the towers a little bit better.
Yes, saw that.
So we've got another half an hour or so before I'm gonna have to call it a night and figure out what to do for dinner for the kids before they decide to eat me for dinner. So we're gonna get as far on this project as we can.
Lol.
I also promised my son we'd watch the next, the second Star Trek, the second new timeline Star Trek movie tonight. Man, why are these all in
Nice.
such a random order? One more, I should do it. Let's switch this.
I have to walk the dogs before driving home. Good progress.
All right, I think that kind of gets the gist of that tower. I don't know that I like it. If I raise the walls and the towers a little more, let me scale this up a little more. This song sounds very 8 Days Later. Still taking up a little bit too much space on the image. You can see a little. Scale the whole thing down. All right, let's turn the post-processing back on and see what it looks like with the effects. I don't think I need the contrast anymore. I think the saturation's probably good enough. And let's turn on the grass. Yep, gotta get the door. I'll be right back. All right. So we need a little bit. Where's my grass? Why isn't my grass showing up? Oh, because my camera is way back there. Let's align this. With the camera. got some grass. I need to adjust the distance because I think we want the grass to expand onto the hill. Might be okay as is. I want a little bit more of a fade. Probably should have done a little bit more distance. Alright, so we gotta work on this little hill here and get some rocks going. I definitely have a problem with perspective on this one. I didn't make it big enough. That castle is really far back in the distance, and mine not so much. It's not as dark and mysterious either. Maybe we'll put some ruined walls here. Vary from the reference image a little bit. I kind of like that idea. Stick some ruined stuff in. It's too bright. Or it's not bright enough, I guess. We'll have to mess with the lighting. I need some rubble. Alright, and then those rocks kind of pile. Looks like maybe a tree in there somewhere. So I'll throw a couple trees here and there. Throw in a couple bushes here. Probably should open up help me place for some of this. I'm gonna add this poplar tree and I'm gonna have it be really sparse. Yeah, I think just a few little random trees. It varies from the thing, but it looks a little bit, it gives a little bit of contrast in here. Alright, let's play with the lighting a little bit, and then we're going to be out of time. So, we need to go into Weather, Enviro. Before I forget, so we can see what it looks like when it runs. We will want to turn off meeting controls on the weather. Where is that? Alright, so we don't want, oops. We don't want weather control, and we don't want time control for this scene. Alright, let's go back to Enviro. And we will find the clouds. Maybe thicken them up just a little bit more. Cloudy 4, I think, is pretty thick as is. Try Cloudy 1. One of these is pretty thick. Let's adjust the time a little bit. Make it a little darker. There. What do you think, wizards? Crank that grass density back up. I didn't do that already. And let's get a good screenshot. I should probably save this before, since I don't remember the last time I saved. I think I got close. I mean, it's definitely not great. I've done better. This is too flat. There needs to be some varying tone in here. I don't know. I think I'll probably have to play with it some more. But compared to the reference image, it's close-ish.
She's almost done.
Let's turn this off. Get a good picture. Oh no, I did a image sequence. I didn't mean to do an image sequence. All right. Everybody's posed for a picture, so I'll go ahead and grab everybody. I'm gonna close the console first. I need to see that. All right. Well, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. Thanks for watching, and hopefully that'll I'll make maybe a little bit more progress on this and get some more stuff going with our little avatars that we have down here. And next time we'll do more with these guys too.